A good morning. Welcome back to another episode of the Walk the DogCast without Matt Mullins. Episode number 24.
Yeah, our boy Matt Mullins down with a case of pneumonia right now, actually.
I think that's putting it nicely. I've got some other cases that he's probably has right now. Some other issues going
Yeah.
on.
Oh, I mean, he does have
Factual
pneumonia.
and
He told me
non-factual.
yesterday.
Um, is you're gonna really bug me out looking all the way to that side. Where's your camera at?
Oh, yeah, let me switch you. Sorry. I had the thing on my other screen. Um, but yeah, no, Matt's been sick and he went to the doctor yesterday and he actually has pneumonia,
No,
which I've never had pneumonia, but that probably sucks.
yeah. And I
Have
think,
you had it?
yeah. Um, it's a I guess well for me it was just a big chest cold. Your chest feels really heavy. It's hard to breathe. I think when you're a smoker, it doubles down on that aspect because your lungs already are a little under stress.
For ripping the Benjamin?
Benjamin Button. Yeah. So Phil's filling in for Walk the Dog cast. We'll see. Matt will be back soon, I'm sure. If you didn't see his statement, it's over there on the Discord, the announcements. And then he showed up for bangers on Monday. So take it
The
as it
bangers
may
were
be.
calling to him.
He
They're
couldn't
calling to him like the Green Goblin mask.
resist. I bet you Matt's a fan of Jim Carrey, so maybe the regular mask.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I haven't thought about that movie in years.
So, is there any chance you brought a sponsor to your guest spotlight?
Yes,
You
I
did?
do have a sponsor. Shout out to our boy Nathan Nuarda on the Discord, who
Hmm.
is currently on the hunt for a Proto V2 of the AL7 Herdsman, one of the ones that
Oh.
dropped yesterday. I know he really wanted to find one of those for the longest time, but he was on an unavoidable work call yesterday and missed the drop. So
Mm.
hit up our
Think
boy Nuarda if you,
if you got one of those, there
yeah,
was, let's see, there's five in existence.
that's what I thought. And I've
And you've
got one
got
of
one
them.
and I've got one, so you can do the math on how many more are out there now after we had the proto drop yesterday. And if you can't do the math, the Walk the Dog cast is probably too studious for you.
Let's see. That would be three. Three of
Good
them
job.
out there.
Good job.
Proto drop yesterday. That was, I think
Yeah.
that caught a lot of people by surprise. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like unfortunately it's still called Loadout Tuesday and it'll be back, but the consistency of always having something there is nice. And normally I would have dropped one of those protos with a loadout because I just like to drop something extra every once in a while, but I don't have any loadouts currently. So the good news is they are taking Anno as 7075. So they are 7068, but they have more zinc, so they need anodized as 7075. It's a different process, shorter in the acid and a cooler temperature. I don't know what any of that means, but that's what the anodizer tells me.
Yeah, dude. Anno is such a, like, whole world beyond my comprehension. Like, I have no clue about any of that stuff. I know it looks cool. That's about the extent of it
I think
for me.
if there was like a quick how-to, like you went and did a 2-day class on anodizing, I think a lot of people could do a lot of it. Now, figuring out your different mixtures for masking or washes would be tough. But I think for the basic principles, seeing it in person would be a lot better than trying to understand it online.
So when the anodizer like puts it in the baths or whatever and puts the color on, is that before or after it's blasted? Is the guy doing the color and then blasting it?
No, so they're going to be machined, blasted, and then the first step, well, he does a couple steps. The first step is kind of cleaning the part in acid.
Of like dust from the blast?
Yeah, so it helps like exfoliate any broken pieces of glass, or if you are This is not advised. Use sand for blasting. You run into real issues where your parts are not actually clean. The sand is stuck in there.
Hmm.
So the first step is then getting that out of it and getting the part then clean and ready to accept the color into those basically pores that you made in the aluminum. So then you put it into the anode tank at a certain temperature for a certain length.
To take the
Into the
color.
dye tank, into the, you know what I mean? The now
Hmm.
that's where you're thinking.
Wow.
Um, And then, like, so if you would dip it into the green, splash it with your masking agent, then you would, after the masking agent clean it, or dries, you would
Right, yeah.
clean the part and go to a different color. So the
Then you get the
colorways are
green
built,
splash.
yeah, it's built the opposite than how you would expect. You don't do a black base then green on top. You build the reverse.
Yeah, so for the longest time, I didn't realize that. And then one time you sent in our group chat a picture of like, I don't know if it was Rainbow Road or Rainicorn or something,
Hmm.
but it was before that last step of like going into the black with it masked.
Yeah.
And it was just all the rainbows washed together. So I always thought it was like it went in the black and then got masked and then went into some sort of like rainbow
Well,
to
I,
put the
I kind
rainbow
of think that
splash
people
on.
thought that you just splash it with the rainbow,
Splash it with the
but
rainbow, yeah.
you don't have rainbow acid to splash it. And once you actually think about it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. You splash the
Yeah.
masking on. So that's why you get different types of splash. Depends on the masking, because you're going to get a lot of like, is it thicker or splashier? And speckles is harder because then the masking really comes into play. Is it going to be those big speckles or little
Yeah.
speckles? How thick is the masking? Can it work like, I don't, can it
I'm a
be
big
that
fan of
small of a
speckles, honestly.
molecule? I think speckles are my favorite, whether it's to compare or contrast. We can We'll circle now. Let's just we'll circle back to this. Let's hit our because actually I have here. I'm curious about your colorway thoughts for today's
Okay.
podcast. Um, but we always do a blind five ranking, and you have prepared one for me, and I have one for you. Do you want to go first or me?
Yeah, I'll go first. So mine is a little unconventional, I would say, in that these so my blind five is minor inconveniences.
And brought to you by Nathan A. Noarda.
Yeah, and
He's
his search
looking
for
for that
the
Herdsman V2 prototype.
which I love that olive green that it came in, by the way.
Fun
One of my
fact about
favorite
Nathan, the
colors.
dude has maybe all the loadouts.
I think
Might
so.
be
To
missing one or
date,
two,
yeah.
but he had all the loadouts in wild. So that
Yeah,
makes
that's
me
the
feeling
loadout
good with
king.
the loadout issues because there's been a few weeks now he hasn't had to get one.
Yeah. See, that's why he's like, yeah, I haven't been able to get a loadout. I
Got to
gotta get
fix that
a
itch.
herdsman.
Hmm.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, minor inconveniences.
Is this stemming from my washing machine problems yesterday?
It might be that
Because that's
subconsciously
not a
that might
minor
have been what triggered
inconvenience
it
when
for
you have
me.
3 kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a major inconvenience, but it might have led to some minor inconveniences. So, like number one on your list would be the worst of these.
Okay, the worst. So this is the minor inconvenience that is the worst. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. And
like
five
the
is the
most
one that I would
annoying.
most want to happen if I have to get one out of the list.
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So, first item on the list, you're driving, the light turns yellow. You can definitely make it, but the guy in front of you stops.
Okay.
See what I
How
mean? Like that's just like it's annoying.
It's very annoying. And how much of a hurry am I in? You don't know?
Average hurry. You're not like late, but you're cutting it close.
Okay, that's going to be one. That's going to be the one I can deal with the most, probably.
So that would be five.
Five is the one I don't want to happen.
Five would be,
One is the one I don't want to happen the most.
yeah, five is the most annoying. Or one is the most annoying. Five is like
Okay,
the
so I
most
want this one's at
tolerable.
five. This is the one I want.
Okay. Next item, you just get comfortable on your couch or in bed, and then you realize the remote is like all the way over there.
Oh,
Brutal.
that is brutal. But I'm gonna go three.
Okay, solid.
I because
Um,
honestly, I'm not getting up. I'm going like if I'm in bed, I'm just going to bed. Maybe if I'm
yeah,
on the
that's
couch,
true.
I'm gonna. I don't know. I might just go to my phone. I'm not watching a show now.
Yeah, I mean, there is always just lay in bed and look at phone time. Um, okay. Next one, you're walking along and you stub your pinky toe, just catch it on the edge of
That's
something.
one. That's one. That is the worst.
Yeah, that
That is
does
the.
suck.
You would. I mean, you fall to the ground and wish you were dead.
And the worst is when it happens like in front of your friend or your wife and they just laugh at you and they're like,
Oh, it's
"What are you,
so
an
bad.
idiot? Like, look where you're walking."
I can almost feel it
Um,
in my pinky toe right now.
yeah, it's tragic. Okay, this one, it might be a little too close to home for you right now, but you're walking along minding your own business and you just step in something wet and you got a wet sock.
Yeah, wet sock is up there too. I'd rather have the wet sock than the broken pinky toe, but it's bad. The wet
I
socks.
guess it depends. Like if I'm home, it's not a big deal because I just dry my foot off, get a new sock. But
Well, I
if
don't know
I'm
where else
out,
I'm walking in my socks.
well, like, or you're in your shoes and you step in a puddle that was a little questionable and you get a wet sock,
I'm not stepping in a puddle, dude.
well, you know,
This whole scenario is only happening at my house.
yeah, that's true.
And the worst, and
Um,
the extra, it depends on if it's sticky too, because then if I walk and now
mm,
I have to mop the whole kitchen floor or whatever it is,
see, that doesn't happen to me because I don't have kids, but I could see how that would be very annoying to step
you
in
have
something
pets and a
sticky.
wife. What do you mean?
My wife is not spilling things on the
She's not a
floor, and
slimer. She doesn't have play slime.
we're gonna move past that
My
one.
kids play slime all the time.
Saying my wife's not a slimer. Okay, the last one on the list, you got to go somewhere. You hop in your car and you realize that the last time you drove, you decided that getting gas was a problem for future you,
hmm Yeah, and that one
which
could
this
be up
happens
there.
to me all the time.
This usually happens to me when I drive after my wife.
Throwing her under the bus.
Yeah, yeah. So then I'm cussing her out on the way to the gas station. And that's four. That's four for me, which that is probably actually higher on the list.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that ranking, with that five.
Yeah, I mean that's solid. I'd probably put the stubbing the pinky toe at number one as well. Um, that's just
Because that's the only one
now
that
that I
gives
think about it,
actual
that's kind
physical
of
pain. That's not really
yeah,
a
that's
minor
kind of in a
inconvenience.
league of its own.
That's like, um, I don't know. It's like I'm gonna try and find something to use that for. Pains in your adult life.
Yeah,
Waking up with a bad back, the pinky toe stub. Oh, I don't know. A three
I
beer
feel like I wake
hangover.
up. Yeah, dude, once you hit like your late 20s to 30s, the hangovers just like exponentially get
Yeah, you just
longer, harder to cure. I don't know. It's not
it's
even worth dealing
not
with.
worth it, huh? So even like if I'm gonna have more than two or three beers, it has to be early so that I'm done
Yeah.
drinking at 8. So I just went to a concert Monday. So we
Who'd
get
you go see?
Breaking Benjamin.
Oh, nice. My wife loves them.
So we got to the concert, had three beers in the parking lot before we went in,
A little
and then
pregame.
a little beer when we got in there. I mean, you can't afford beers at a venue, so you have to pregame.
Yeah.
So that puts me at five beers, which if I went to bed right then, it probably would have been a rough morning. But then I had 5 hours until I went to bed. So then I bought a $7 water, which I'm not proud about. And then I was fine the next
I
morning.
mean, you got to do what you got to do.
hmm
You need that water. You got to get the
You gotta
hydration.
have it, yeah. And then it did multiple purposes because you want to have something in your hand sipping on. So the water filled that void of getting another beer and then causing problems the next day and said I was just good to go. No, you don't have a a sipping.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like any amount of alcohol is gonna like give me a headache the next day these days. Probably because I so rarely like drink anymore.
That's placebo.
It could be, yeah.
Like I had half a White Claw last night, darn it. I got
Well,
such a
I'm never
bad
gonna
headache
have
today.
half a White Claw.
Well, you said any amount. So I'm
Well,
gonna go to
yeah,
the
but
extreme.
like I'm not gonna leave half of it. The only way I would have half a White Claw is if I'm picking up a wounded soldier
Hmm. And then it's flat and they're already gross to start with.
and warm.
Hmm.
They're not gross. They hit.
You like it. I
Well,
should
I mean,
find
some
five.
flavors are not good, but I do enjoy them.
I just don't like the aluminum can taste that most seltzers have to me, the metallic-y.
Yeah, but on like a nice summer day, you just crack open a claw. No laws when you're on the claws, baby.
Yeah. Yep, that was perfect marketing for them. They didn't even have to come up with it. Blind five for Philip Jenkins, the toilet circle. Reasons the Herdsman is better than the Mongoose.
Oh,
So blind five, number one is just the best reason, that the main reason. Five is the smallest reason.
yep.
So number one, it's a bimetal.
So if I was gonna give like legit reasons rather than me just being like my
Those are all legit
usual
reasons. So yeah.
self, this would probably be number one because like bimetals typically tend to have better performance, and I'm a fan of bimetals. But I need to be my usual rip-off self, so I'm gonna go number three on that.
And just protect yourself. You don't know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Number two, the spike cup.
Oh,
Not a
dude.
flat hub. You got the spike, the Matador pools.
I love the
Better a
spike
finger
because I
spin
do.
dimple too. Like it's not a finger spin dimple, but you get it right in that little cup between the spike and the edge.
Yeah, I do like that. I mean, I'm looking here because I have two of them sitting here, but um, I'll go four on that.
Okay. Not a big reason that is better than the Mongoose.
I mean, I like it, but the flat cup is nice. Um, to really let some colorways shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Number three, just the name.
Two.
Two, just Herdsman's better than Mongoose. I mean, Matt tries to just change it into the goose, right?
I think that's like,
So there's name confusion already on the other side.
yeah. So herdsman, it can be shortened to herdy. Everybody still knows what you're talking about.
Number four, just because it gets under Matt's skin.
One.
That's one. So what do you have left? Number five?
Yeah.
And the fifth reason is because it's your agent series yo-yo.
I mean, even if it wasn't, it would be a better yo-yo.
Hmm. So
So
that fit in there
that
perfectly.
fits.
Top five reasons why the Herdsman is better than the Mongoose. Anything else you would have thrown in there as a bonus?
Cows are better than geese.
Okay. But what about Mongoose?
I don't really know too much about mongooses. I know it's a bike company. Back when I was a kid, I always wanted a mongoose bike.
Yeah, they were cool until Huffy bought them.
Yep. And then it was like, what, Diamondbacks were cool.
Yeah, and then somebody bought Diamondback. I think the same brand just keeps buying all the cool bikes.
Yeah.
Because then
Squashing
somebody
the
even bought like
competition.
Schwinn. Do you got electric bikes out by you?
I see people riding them. So I live like in a small city. I don't live in the city, but like my
Yeah.
postal code is a small city, and then I live in like a rural outskirt. And in the city itself, it's kind of hilly, but I do see people. Sorry, I gotta keep my little icon red on Teams. So people don't hit me up for work stuff when I'm trying to do actual
This
work,
is
record walk the
actual work.
dogcast.
Hmm.
But yeah, I see people riding the electric bikes, electric scooters. Not those one-wheeled things. Don't really see those, but bikes and
I was just
scooters
kind
a
of
lot.
curious, like, because we have like a half an hour away a lot of Amish, and they all have the electric bikes.
They do.
Yeah,
The Amish by me, they don't have regular bikes. I see them on like almost like a Razor scooter, but it has more like bike tires.
those are sweet, but really, so like horse and buggy population has gone down, the electric bike has gone up.
That's wild.
But yeah, there's tons of the electric bike. And it's, well, I would say not fully electric, right? Because you have the pedals still. So
You
I don't,
pedal to get it going, and then you can like,
almost like a moped, it's like electric assist.
that's pretty cool. If
Um,
I didn't live like, well, if I lived a little closer to town, I'd think about getting one just for when I need to like run in and grab groceries or something.
how far away is your grocery store?
10, 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh. So if you're going to the grocery store, it's a minimum a half hour.
Yep.
That
And
is
then,
minor
I'm
inconvenience.
like all over the place in there, so it's like an hour.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess an actual grocery store, but I'm thinking if it's a half an hour if you forgot milk. Because you're not going to your neighbors because he don't like you. And
Well, so
well,
I
you're not
have
going for milk either, but let's just say you're going for what do you need? Like, is that you must have it for something?
ice cream, bagels.
Okay, you need some sugar for some homemade cookies.
Yeah, something.
Okay, but
It's
you're not going next door for a cup of sugar, so you got to go a half an hour down the drain.
yeah, I mean there's a gas station convenience store that has like little stuff like that. I mean it would be like a small bag of sugar, a small bag of vegetable oil,
For
that sort of thing.
$47.
But yeah, you're gonna pay like 10 bucks. So it's like, is it worth paying, $10 for a pint of vegetable oil or an extra 20 minutes and getting like a normal one for $2?
Can we dive into now that I remembered your neighbor? What was that issue?
So I
Wasn't there
live
something
like,
on your property that your solar panel?
yeah, I live like 800 feet from my neighbor's property line. And it's just like a field. And I was putting a solar panel up like by my house because, you don't want to pay for all that wire to have it far away.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "Oh, it's basically in my backyard. It's ruining my view." And we're like,
Sorry.
"That view is our yard. Like, you don't have a right to a view of my yard."
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's like it's a side face, so he's just seeing like the slanted profile, not like the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
So it's like you're just being a grumpy old man to be a grumpy old man, which I get that. I'm turning into a grumpy old man,
Mm-hmm.
but
Did you put it in?
uh yeah, and we put another one in too. He
Mm-hmm.
tried to get like the other neighbors on board and they're like, "Dude, we can't even see his house. Like, who cares?"
Yeah, and it's I don't know. I don't like
Yeah,
that when people tell me what I can do and can't do to my own property.
exactly. So now I'm planting like trees all along the property line. He saw me down there the one day and he's like, "Oh, what are
There
you
goes
doing?
your
Planting
view.
some trees?" Yeah. And I was like, "Yep." And he's like, "Cool. That way you can't see me and I can't see you." And I was like, "Yeah, that's the goal."
And I hope the wind blows all the leaves on your yard.
Yeah.
So we were
Whatever,
talking
dude.
about
Neighbors are the
speckles,
worst.
and I was curious just what your favorite type of colorways are, just as a off the rip different topic. You were saying speckles, and this is coming off the backs of Jake doing Jake things, where I ordered, kind of have set up the Herdsman. I don't have any more.
Yeah, dude, I wanted to ask, like, you dropping some intel on what colors we might get on those, or?
No, so that's what I was diving into is that I've already picked the orders and they're off for the parts are at Anno outside of the two that were rushed for the Patreon shipment. Um, and I think before then and then this reminded me I didn't get any intel from Phil for any colorways that he wanted. After I messed up
Um,
and did that to Mike, I said I'm gonna do better for Phil, and I did not do better for Phil.
it happens. Um, listen, hold the two herdsmen's out for me and let me put them at the bottom of the customs list for me.
I don't know if I'm going to press those rings. We'll see.
I'll press them. You
Rates
send
didn't
me.
go that well, but we could. Yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, I mean, my favorite colorway is Nebula.
Yeah.
So what is that? A wash with a speckle?
Yeah, it's a three color wash with kind of a speckle. I don't want to give away too much of the details of the actual process there. There's got to be a little bit of, I don't know. It's not quite intellectual property, and you can find out how they're made, but
Yeah.
it's a little different to get those speckles than regular speckles.
hmm So
And it
I
can only
mean,
happen with the washes.
washes with speckles is probably my favorite like genre
Hmm.
because I have like this Arkham Speckle Grunt, which is
Yeah.
like, I mean, you can't really see that, but black and
No,
purple
but I know
wash.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like that one came out really well.
And
And I like it
actually,
better than the regular Arkham
this
because
is
of the speckle.
perfect little segue because little spoiler alert in a couple weeks here when I drop the next Patreon shipment, that colorway is one of the options.
Dude, that's sick. Yeah, and it also like what is it? The other grunt, Crimson Glacier,
Hmm.
same technique, looks really good.
Yeah, so you like a two color wash with speckles instead of usually I would go a splash for the more coverage. Um, where I like a lot, I like the splash plus speckle combo.
That does look good.
I like it with the same color and I like it with different colors. But I like having both of those on, usually a solid base. It's a little just more, I don't know, you can get into too many colors once you start adding a wash and then you get to four colors. I like three. Three's my sweet spot for colors. Unless
In
you're
the
going
wash or
custom
total?
total. So if I do a
Yeah, I
wash,
feel that.
I really ideally I like to throw one color on top of a wash.
hmm Yeah, three is probably the sweet spot for me. With the exception of like Rainbow Galaxy. I don't know how many colors you'd consider that. It can kind of get a wide spectrum there.
Yeah. Um, well, it's probably, well, let's see, there's probably five colors that go on, and then each of the fades becomes a color. And I don't know, is that like exponential? Because you're going to have blue to green, blue to red, blue to purple, blue to whatever. So there's probably a certain gradient color there of like 15 to 20
Yeah.
out of a base of five, I think.
So, I mean, yeah, wash with a speckle is probably my favorite like technique grouping.
Hmm.
Um, I like the storms a lot, a three color wash like Unicorn, Pacific Storm is okay, I guess. Berry Storm is good.
What
That
was
was just
your,
to take a shot at Matt.
did you like the shard or the bliss better?
Um, I really liked them both. The Shard is really good, and I don't know, part of that could be because it's like a new thing and it's like
Yeah.
a really hot colorway. Um, but I also like the Island Bliss a lot. Just because I like blues and greens, like
So you're more technique guy than a color guy.
most of the time. There's some colors that I like don't gravitate towards, like yellow or gold bases.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I usually kind of like dark bases, like green, blue, black.
I like dark bases too, and then I like to add the contrast in the
Just a
smaller
pop of
capacity.
color.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But sometimes the bright base though goes well. It just you got to be in the right mood for a colorway that's going to hit you in the face.
yeah. So like bright base, I don't know, because like so take reverse Rainbow Road versus Oil Slick.
Yes.
I'm taking Oil Slick
Because of the
because I
darker
like
base
that darker base.
or because it also has speckle.
I guess I'd have to see
I
a
like the
single
contrast
scene.
on the gray instead of the clear.
Yeah.
I like both. And but I like the gray and clear, I think, better than actual Rainbow Road with the black base, which is would be even darker.
I think you would, a majority of people would agree with that.
And I'm not sure like exactly because I like the gray as well. I don't know what they it just pops better on that lighter color, even though I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because black I like with just the speckles.
Yeah, like Kaleidoscope versus Rainbow Road.
Yeah. No, well, reverse Rainbow Road, but yeah. Well, I like Kaleidoscope better than Rainbow Road, which is
Yeah.
one has splash, one is speckle on the same black
Yeah.
base. And I don't know exactly why.
What about RBG Speckle
Rainbow Galaxy Speckle. I don't know that the speckles would be big enough to see the
with
colors,
variation?
the
Yeah.
wash. Yeah. Like when people will do a wash inside of a splash, I usually say to do a splash and a speckle so you can see the wash better.
Mhm.
That pops up a lot in customs with
So speaking of Rainbow Galaxy and the whole light base versus dark base, I think Rainbow Galaxy looks better when the blue base is on the darker side. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the blue comes
I
out a little lighter and sometimes it's more navy-ish.
I don't know. I have no idea how, why, or anything why it happens. Like it's always the same three colors washed.
Hmm.
And it's a different type of layering wash, so you don't know what you're going to get. And I think it is, I don't know if it's temperature or if it's surface area of the part. Because I had an anodizer at one point that was deep into it and would ask for the surface area of each model. Um, and he would do different either amounts of time, I
Wow.
think, in the colors based on the surface area of the part, where,
That's some knowledge of your craft right
yeah,
there.
and everyone else is just like, it's a yo-yo
Throw
part.
it in there.
I'm throwing it in there and guessing it's around this long, but he wanted the surface area.
That's cool.
So I don't know if it has to do with that or it's just the shape on how the color sits when you do that different style of wash.
Hmm. So like the the AL7 brass rim Arbiter X in Rainbow Galaxy was
Really
a
good.
like a deep navy.
And
And
it's that
honestly,
green. I think the green
yeah.
is the key. When that green pops out,
Yeah, like that's one of the best Rainbow Galaxies to date, in my opinion, was on the brass AL7 Arbiter X.
yeah, I like that one a lot with the green and well, there's a lot of like shape shades in there that really makes it 3D-ish. Um,
Hmm. And
but
it
I
pops with the
also
brass rims.
I don't think I would like Rainbow Galaxy as much if they all looked the same.
Yeah, part of the like draw is like how wide of a range it can look.
Hmm.
Color like
Yeah.
iteration to iteration.
Hmm. And that's kind of what I like about it.
Yeah, and I guess you kind of get the same thing with a lot of these colorways, like the storms. I've got two Unicorn Storm Herdsmans, and they look pretty different. I'm looking at them right now.
Yeah, just the wash because you don't know if you're gonna get more pink or purple or blue. Depends on, I mean, the washes are the most random. When you do a solid color with a solid color splash, the coverage and splash is going to be different, but the shades of those two colors are almost always the same. But when you
Yeah,
start washing, it becomes different.
and just having like a little more of the blue coming through on one versus the other, you wouldn't think it would make that much of a difference, just like a little more of one color showing through, but it does. I mean, at least in my mind,
Hmm.
it can change things pretty wildly.
What is your favorite part of yo-yo right now?
Favorite part of yo-yo?
Yeah. Like what keeps you in the hobby? So at one point it was your buddies also yo-yo, right? Your online buddies are yo-yoing and you're grinding
Yeah.
through tricks. Now you're in a different stage in your life, right? You're building a farm, have a house, you're married. all this jazz of, and it's not like you're going to the yo-yo meet down the road. You're not yo-yoing
Mhm.
on tables at the Bills game.
Um,
You're not yo-yoing in all the public bathrooms.
well, I'm not going in public bathrooms. I'm not going in public. I've turned into a hermit. Um, I need to build myself like a an outhouse in the woods as just a yo-yo filming studio. But no, the friendships I've made, the real yo-yoing is the friendships we've made along the way. But just, the friends I've made and yo-yoing was what initially connected us. Now, even if we're not like chatting about yo-yo stuff, we're just, BSing.
Yeah.
And then the actual yo-yoing itself, a lot of times when I'm yo-yoing throughout the day, it's just a quick little session to kind of like reset my mind, a little stress reliever and something to keep me going as a creative outlet. I'm not necessarily learning and building new tricks as much as I used to
Hmm.
when I didn't have as many responsibilities. Um, but it is just something fun and mindless that I can like do for a little bit to kind of just take a break and
Now, when you
chill
say it's
out
mindless on your side, so you do it as a break to chill out. You're not,
most of the time.
okay. I guess,
But there are times where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna like work on a new trick for like however long, or I'm gonna take however long and film something.
mhm.
And then it's like I'm concentrating. But other times it's like, yeah, I'll just pick up a yo-yo, mess around with my same tricks and combos for like 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm like, yeah, that was sick.
So that main driver is just the 15 minutes of yo-yo each day. Is the consistency in that is just something you'll do and you is why you're still here?
I mean, I'd say
Or
the
do you think it's
community is why I'm still here.
so is it a mix of old community or mostly new? Because I'm trying to
Both.
think the IRC boys are all, those are probably, if you still talk to them, that you're talking to them about non-yo-yo related items.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
So like some of the old IRC homies like Beef Swizzle, Reef Chief, like Amish Electrician and those guys, like
Mhm.
I'll chat with them. Mostly it's not about yo-yo stuff anymore. It's like memes and whatnot. Um, but now I have like other new friends that I've made in the last year since I've been hanging out in the Discord more, like Matt, Dabs, those guys. And, we are talking about a lot of yo-yo stuff, but we're also talking about like, just memes and shooting the shit.
Yeah. No, so I was just kind of curious. Because there's like an evolution. I don't, evolution is probably not the right word, but like bell curve's not the right thing, but a normal journey for a yo-yo player.
Trajectory, yeah.
Yeah. You find yo-yoing, it starts to consume you. You learn and throw as much as you can, and you're going to contests. And then I feel like that's where the individual journey continues. Do you continue down the contest scene? Do you become some sort of creative outlet in the yo-yo space, whether it's creating tricks or your whatever? Like a long time for me, taking the photos was a lot of fun of yo-yos.
I am having fun taking photos of yo-yos lately. Since I got a camera,
Camera,
it's been
yeah,
fun, dude.
you can do at like we think like so the iPhone or whatever phone is awesome, point and shoot. It takes great photos, but it doesn't give you that characteristic of like an actual photo with a camera that you can adjust settings. You know what I mean? Because the
Mhm.
computer's trying to get everything like evenly lighted for that best picture, the full screen picture, and it wants everything in focus. Where you on a camera get the option to decide what's in focus, what lighting you want, and and kind of how to shape that picture, whether you know what I mean. So it's a photo, but it's also kind of your artistic vision of a photo.
Yeah, so I mean right now in my personal like yo-yoing journey, it has shifted lately into it's becoming more of a creative outlet for me because now I do have the camera, I'm taking pictures. I want to learn how to use my camera to make nice video content. And so me wanting to do that is motivating me to like, okay, I'm not going to use my same tricks that I'm always posting. Like I got to come up with some new stuff to drop some hot videos. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So like
You want to get
it's
featured
all
in
building
bangers.
together. Yeah,
I mean, you can only get on bangers for having a pack storm goose one time.
I know. So I told Matt, I was like, dude, when the pack storms all started landing, I was like, for bangers this week, you should just do like three separate pictures of a pack storm mongoose. It's like banger number one.
Yeah.
And it's just pack storm. So
Don't be
I
giving him
mean he kind
intel
of
for the
did that
Mongoose
because
over
all
Herdsman.
three,
Yeah,
yeah,
he put his own spin on it, which was perfect.
yeah. So yeah, I mean I've got a couple creative video ideas I want to do for the herdsmen, especially as we get closer to when they start dropping. Um I'm I'm trying to not be too overwhelming to people like with how much I'm pushing a herdsman. Like I'm always using a herdsman, but I can't just like always be posting pictures of the herdsman. So like I'm trying to mix it up.
I mean, you can. And for the Discord, go for it. Today's throw. The thing I don't like that starts to be cringe on me is when people will post a trick circle and it's and you evolve as a person. Like 10 years ago, Jake, you want all that photo like as much as you could, you want listed to a model and a brand. And then as I get older and learn and say, I actually don't care that much about any of that. And I'd rather just have somebody that's posting content and creating an organic fan base that
Yeah, so I got to get back
isn't
into
sold to. Like I
Instagram.
don't want people trying to sell with their posts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the herdsman, it's perfect. You can't buy a herdsman, so post away, and that's what's funny about it. A little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean it is funny. Um, and I do like, making memes that make fun of Matt and say that the herdsman is better than the mongoose.
Hmm.
Because for a while, like making memes and jokes was a driver for me and Yo-Yo.
Yeah. Are you gonna out
Um,
yourself?
no,
Okay.
but like you can look at my toilet circle posts and like there was long stretches of time where I wasn't posting Yo-Yo videos. It was all just toilet circle memes.
Yeah. I have a way with the meme. You're good. Like you
But
have
then
a
like
library in your head to
meme
plug them
culture
in
kind of shifted to like a different format, and I feel like it's circling back around to like where I can start actually making
using them.
memes again.
How did you think like you think it shifted to video or you think it shifted to what do you think it shifted to?
Yeah, kind of videos and less like the standard like meme format and more like just joke videos, I think, were
Yeah.
like more prevalent for a while. And now kind of like meme formats are kind of like making a comeback, I think.
Yeah, and I wonder if a lot of that just came down to the algorithm that you weren't seeing them either. Because
It could be, dude.
it's not
I
going to
don't know
show
what
it
I'm
to you. A
seeing. The
photo of a
algorithm tells
meme is
me.
not going to show you.
Yeah.
Um,
So you got to have the meme be a video,
yeah,
but that takes more like
and that's
apps
not
to
what
be
I'm
able
in.
to make.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. So it's like,
Where Matt is really good with the video memes. So
dude, I love Matt's
gets
content like
into
that.
it, he might be able like there's an even matchup there between your old school memes and Matt's video memes.
Oof, you're gonna get
I
me
mean, did you
going.
see Matt's video of I'm back G2 Nation? So
Yeah,
I
Matt,
can't
I don't
post
know
Matt's.
where he comes up with this stuff, dude. That's why I gave him a shout out. I was like, this has got to be like the most genuine, like he gets an idea and he's just go for it. Like I love that.
Pneumonia and all.
Yeah. He's like he sent me a message last night. He's like, I'm up making memes. Don't tell my wife. I'm like, I'm not gonna like rat you out to your wife that you're not resting and you're like making cooked video content
He's
of
got pneumonia. He's
Karate
supposed to be
Kid.
resting.
He's like, he posted a video and it was like a Karate Kid training montage, and he's like, "Look out, Hank Freeman, I'm coming for that 3A title."
Yeah,
Where do you even come up with this stuff, dude?
and I don't know. That's what makes characters. It's the best. Like you,
Exactly.
what's going on up there, and you can't fully relate, but you just appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, I love it.
All right, man. Thanks for hopping on the podcast with me. You got to get
Yeah,
to
dude.
work. I got to get to work. Herdsman on three.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 herdsman.
Herdsman.
Later, dude.
See ya.